Howdy everybody, ArgonMatrix here, welcoming you back to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, episode 8 today. We did a greed mode run last time, probably going to hop back into the normal sort of gameplay loop today. Let's try an Eden run, I guess. That's the only character we have unlocked that we haven't really tried out yet, so I'm going to swap to back to hard mode before I forget from greed mode, and give this a whirl. Alright, so very interesting sort of setup you can see here. Let's check this out first. 98R2 LFKA, and if you put the seed in and play as Eden, you will actually get these same starting items, even though it's random for every Eden run. So we got the Book of Revelations, which is really, really good. I'm going to explain why in a second. And we got the Leech, the Bloodsucker here, who effectively runs over to enemies and sucks the blood dry, and can give you some replenish some of your health in your red heart containers, which you don't have any yet, because Eden starts with a random amount of health, and we happen to start with 3 spear hearts this time. Also random stats, which seem to be good for the most part right now. I think we got good damage, good fire rate, so off to a very, very nice start for our first Eden run here. And what the Book of Revelations does, you could see that I used it once up there, it just gives you a spirit heart every time it's used. But it's really good to get it early on like this, because every time you use it on one of the odd number floors, so 1, 3, 5, and 7, you will be, I'm pretty sure, guaranteed, if you use it at least once on that floor, to fight one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, or the Horseman that is fit to that floor, actually. So on this floor, we should fight Famine as our boss. And that's good because it means you can unlock, oh jeez, kind of sniped me from the side there, that guy did. It means you can pick up the Ball of Bandages or Cube of Meats from that boss, and effectively allow yourself to get all 4 in one run very easily if the Book of Revelations doesn't screw you over, because there are some sort of alternates to the Horseman fights that you can get from the Book of Revelations. But more often than not, you'll manage to pick up at least 3 or 4 of the cubes of meat or ball bandages. And that'll be good for us, because that is one of the harder achievements to get, because you do have to pick up all 4 balls of bandages and cubes of meats on one run in order to 100% the game and get everything that there is to get. So getting it set up this early with this Book of Revelations is really, really nice. So hopefully we'll be able to make it work on this run, at least survive long enough and get all the balls of bandages is going to be this time. Yeah, the Horseman can drop either the cube of meat or ball of bandages, but if you once you get one, it's going to be that same one for the rest of the game. So I can't, for instance, the next time I fight a Horseman, I'm not going to get the cube of meat. I'm just going to keep getting more balls of bandages. So you can't get screwed over that way. Thankfully, that would have been super annoying if you just had to flip that coin the right way 4 times in one run. That would just be a little too ridiculous, I think. And I'm glad they realized that. Alright, on the basement 2 here, our deal with the Devil Chance is actually quite good, because we don't have any red hearts to take damage on. That might change once we beat Gluttony here, because he occasionally drops less than 3. Actually, not even occasionally, but more often than not, I would say. Friends Till the End is a pretty nice pill. Another massive room down here. Let's get a charge on our Book of Revelations from this. This room is actually really not so bad. Yeah, so I would say definitely an above average Eden start. Eden's probably one of those characters, I think it's the character that people like to go for streaks on a lot. If you look on Twitch and on a YouTube series, you see a lot of people going for streaks as Eden, which makes sense because it's the one character that's going to be different every time you play her, right? Because the items are always randomized. I think you're always guaranteed 1 spacebar item and 1 passive item, but beyond that it could be anyone's game. So this is Shoop de Whoop, which gives us this sort of crazy laser. I think I've already showed it off before. I'm going to keep Book of Revelations for reasons I've stated before. I'd like to try and go for all 4 balls of bandages if I could on this run. It might not happen. It might. It all depends on how the bosses roll out for us here. But if I'm given the chance with the Book of Revelations early on like this, like if you get the Book of Revelations as Eden's starting item, or in your first item room, or if you have a library on the first floor and you get it, definitely take advantage of it if you can. If you haven't gotten those achievements already, of course. If you have, then it's, I neither here nor there. I mean, Book of Revelations is still a great thing to take regardless of that that extra effect, because 1 spirit heart every 6 rooms is... It adds up, man. Especially if you have the damage and outputs to protect those spirit hearts nicely. Or the defensive capabilities to protect it, obviously. Then you'll be pretty much set for the rest of the game in terms of HP. Little Horn's not going to be the worst thing in the world here, provided we can avoid all his bombs and shit. Go, and we should be guaranteed to deal with the devil on this floor. What would I like to see from the deal with the devil? I don't know. I'd like to be surprised. No spacebar items, obviously, would be probably the best thing. We did unlock Krampus on our last run in Greed mode, so that might be an interesting thing to show off as well, if I can make that happen. Once you unlock Krampus, I think he shows up on effectively every run that you get deals with the devil on, anyway. On most runs, I should say. So we got Contract from Below, which we had a few times before, and we got Little Brimstone, who I will take because I think he's a new one. He might not be, but you know what, he's good regardless. So no skin off my scrote. Such a gross, like, even if I didn't use the word scrote there and I used the actual expression, I unlocked Eve. Well, there you go, for not picking up 2 hearts for 2 floors. Really nice. But even if I use the standard expression, which is no skin off my nose, like, what the hell does that even mean? No skin off my nose. It's so gross sounding. It just gives me this horrible image in my mind of someone going to town against someone's nose with a carrot peeler or something. It's just awful. It's really, I'm sorry if I put that image in your head now. That's my bad, but, you know, these are the facts that we have to face on a daily basis. That some of our expressions just don't make any sense. The English language as a whole really does not make a lot of sense if you stop and think about it, and don't think about the fact that that it's one of the most common languages on Earth, and that so many people know it and just take it at face value for what it is. It's like, yeah, it's just how English works. But like, no, if you just think about it for a little bit, it's like really a very weird language compared to every other language. Every other language has very set, specific rules for how it works. And English does have some rules to some extent, obviously, but, oh god, I hate that rotating brimstone attack, especially when it hits you twice. Head of Krampus has appeared in the basement, and there it is, Head of Krampus. What this does, I'll show it off quickly here. It causes this. It doesn't always spin the brimstone with Head of Krampus, but 50-50 shot, I would say, that it spins the brimstone. Yeah, the English language does have some rules, like I before E except after C, but that's probably one of the more egregious rules because that one is broken so often. And you know what? I compel you to find any rule, quote unquote, in English that does not get broken in some way or another by some turn of phrase or just expression or just flat out like exception to the rule. It's like, it's weird. As someone who's like dealt with English their whole life, like it's my primary language, and I have French as my secondary language to fall back on, so I know how that language works, and it's very, very different from English with all of its masculine and feminine nouns and stuff like that. But, have I used Book of Revelations on this floor yet? I'm trying to think. I'm gonna go back. Well, I might as well go back anyway. Sorry, I had to clear my... Oh, God. Give me a second here. To clear my throat out, my goodness. I guess I've been talking too much. I'm getting too riled up about this English language nonsense. And it really is nonsense, man. This is bullshit. Got the secret room there. That's kind of nice. And I definitely have used Book of Revelations twice now, as a matter of fact. Don't worry, using it multiple times won't, like, negate the effect of it spawning a horseman for you or anything. That was something I worried about initially when I started playing this game. Yeah, but I'm somewhat of a writer in my spare time. I'm not published or anything. I'd like to be one day. I have lots of aspirations like that may or may not come to fruition. And writing is one of them that I would like to pursue at some point. So I have a fairly broad knowledge of how English works, and let me tell you, it's not a cakewalk. Even with all these years, all these 22 years of experience under my belt. I suppose that's not entirely fair, because I haven't been speaking since I was 0 years old. But, alright, Alright, we got box of spiders here, which will give us some friendly attack spiders, if nothing else. And then we're going to keep on going with Book of Revelations, of course. Hopping over to the shop here, see if I can pick up anything. That's the glowing hourglass, which is another active item, man. I really don't need all these active items. It's appreciated. We've run into some pretty good ones, but Book of Revelations just has to trump them all for right now. Like, I'm trying to think of some weird rules. You know, something I've never, there's like even, I don't know how to phrase this. Even with the knowledge of English that I have, there's still a lot that I don't know, obviously. And a lot of things that I feel like I should know, like there's some words, some terminology, here's the second horseman, by the way, that I just feel like I should know, like, I don't know. I'm trying to, I can't even think of the word right now because I don't know it. But if I heard it, then I would be like, I don't know what that word means, even though I know that I should know what that word means. There we go, our second ball of bandages. Let's move on. Do I think we're going to be able to make boss rush on this run? According to this little splash screen here, we are ahead of the clock. So if I think if I speed run a little bit here and try not to take too much damage while doing said speed running, then we might be able to make things happen here. I don't know, I haven't really gotten any proper damage upgrades, though. I've gotten some DPS upgrades in the form of a little brimstone and an iron bar. Iron bar might actually be a straight damage upgrade. A small one, but still one nonetheless. I'm not sure. That's something I should look into. There's a lot of items in Isaac that I think I know the secondary effects of. Like, I think iron bar gives you a damage upgrade, but I'm not positive on it. Probably not worth it. Not worth spending both my keys on right now. Not when there's an item room right here. Heyo. Little brimstone is doing kind of the brunt of the work for us right now while we just sit back and rake in spirit hearts. Another fucking active item. This is Lemon Mishap. Does this. Makes a tiny little lemon party. Every 2 rooms is not that great. It does a significant amount of damage if you can make an enemy walk into it. It's not bereft of use by any means, but it's certainly there's certainly better spacebar items, one of which is on our active slot right now. Figures, though, right, that on the one run where I start with Book of Revelations and kind of effectively need to keep it until the end of the game, that's when they're going to just throw active item after active item at me. It's like, oh, you could have had this, you could have had this, why aren't you taking this? You could have a passive item instead, but no, we're just going to keep putting these in your face. Justice will give us a Spirit Heart, which is pretty nice, as well as some more consumables. Let's move on down. The Fallen, I will use High Priestess on the Fallen to make this a little bit easier for me. Ball bandages in his second stage here, by the way. You can see that it shoots Charm Tears as well as being an orbital. So that's kind of cool. We got a Ghost Baby in here who is not worth 3 Spirit Hearts to me in my position right now. Even though I effectively have unlimited Spirit Hearts with the Book of Revelations, it's still slowly acquired infinite Spirit Hearts. It's like infinite Spirit Hearts, but you have to count up from 0 to infinity. It's like you're going to be there a while, obviously. Alright, this is not ideal. These greed heads are a little tanky for my blood. With Brimstone, you're coming through in the clutch, though, I gotta say. Alright. Lovely little fire-based room there. Totally fine by me. I gotta be careful to actually pay attention to Little Brimstone a little better, because sometimes I just kind of let go of the charge just an instant too soon, and I lose the Brimstone effect. It's really fun if you can actually get Little Brimstone and Brimstone itself on the same run, because then you can charge up your Brimstone, and Little Brimstone charge up his Brimstone, and then you just have a little sort of Brimstone gangbang party. It's great. Just a little circle jerker Brimstone or something. Okay, well, almost walked right into that guy. That would have been a little ridiculous. It's the problem with these guys is that they like to... Well, not these guys now that I've reduced them to this state, but the charging ones is that they charge all over the place, and I just can't make heads or tails of it sometimes. You don't know what they're going to bounce off of in which way. That's physics. That could be a Saturday morning show on the Disney Channel to teach kids physics. Most people probably wouldn't watch it unless you had some crazy awesome guy at the helm like Bill Nye the Science Guy. But I hear he's doing other stuff like debating with creationists and all that. I think Bill Nye is actually doing quite a bit of good work in the scientific community as of late. I've seen him in a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. He seems like a fairly active guy in the media scene these days. Or maybe that's just me thinking that. Alright, we got some stone chests here, more keys. Definitely a pretty good haul. We got the louse, which is a trinket, so I'll take it. It's not the greatest thing. I think... You know what? I'm not even going to say what I think it does, because I honestly don't know. Like, I feel like it has the same effect as a little larva, like it gives you attack flies when you shoot poop. But, I don't know. It does something else. I'll have to look it up. I don't know. As so many things in Isaac, I'm going to have to look it up between videos, probably. That's probably going to be even more of a concern once Afterbirth Plus comes out in a couple, actually, not in less than a day here, in probably a couple hours. Can't wait for that shit, man. It sucks because I'm going to be over at Lukagen's place watching her cat during the inception of Afterbirth Plus. Another active item here, Friendly Ball. So we can throw it. Lovely. If you throw it at an enemy, you can catch the enemy at Pokeball style and actually... Then you can like send it out again once the item's ready, and they'll fight for you for a brief while. It's pretty interesting. It's not the greatest item in the world, I would say, but it could be a little bit of fun. If nothing else, it's another mark on our item completion list. Ooh, that was not great. The guy kind of sniped me at the last second there. Alright, I will use some of my bombs here to try and get loaded up on Spirit Hearts. Not that I necessarily need it, but that's fine. And we got War here, so this is the third horseman, so if we can get death on the Womb 1, then we will be straight cruising. And I don't mean death like I want to die on the Womb 1. That would be the worst of all worlds, I would say. But the Womb 1 is actually kind of the one where you tend to get screwed most often, because you could come against Conquest, who is an alternate fight to death who does not drop a ball bandages. There we go. So we got a Phase 3 meat girl here, who is no longer an orbital, but she walks around and does pretty heavy damage to enemies when she walks into them, actually. She just kind of like stands over them doing her little cutesy buck-toothed smile and fucking wrecking house. Certainly could ask for worse things, and effectively what the fourth one will do is just make her bigger, and so she'll do a lot more damage. Which is fine, because she's already doing a very significant amount of damage. I believe that Bandage Girl does less damage than Meat Boy, so if you get the cube of meats going, then you'll get more damage out of it, but Bandage Girl also has the effect of being able to charm enemies with her charm tiers, so keep that in mind, I suppose. I would say probably Meat Boy is the better of the two overall, but they're both, they both have their uses, and they're both pretty equivalent, if I'm being totally honest with myself. Alright, might as well bomb here to get the chance at some Spirit Hearts and at least get rid of these homing fires, if nothing else. I know they've screwed me over before. See ya. Alright, yeah, let's check these out. Oh, deal with the devil. We got Lord of the Pit and Black Powder. I will take Lord of the Pit. I think 3 Spirit Hearts for flying is a reasonable exchange. And then we got some pills out of this as well. I always hope that if one of those is going to teleport me to the Deal with the Devil, that'll be the last one I open, because then I don't actually have to fight these waves at all. I suppose I could take one of these pills and just hope that it teleports me out. I found pills. And full health. Pretty worthless. But it's good to know that they exist, and it's good that we didn't get, like, paralysis or something stupid. Something like explosive diarrhea, which wouldn't have been the worst thing, I suppose, either. Yeah, see, there you can see a Bandage Girl getting in there doing hefty damage to Monster 2. Hefty. Wimpy wimp sacks. Those cavity creeps, man. It's always weirded me the hell out. Alright, oh, there's that Mega Troll Bomb I forgot about. Alright, let's see if I can avoid the brimstone of these guys. This is a fairly enclosed space. Thank you, though. The sun, I think I will use on this next room to damage all these enemies and show me the path of the boss fight so I can actually make it to boss rush in time. Otherwise, I might have been stuck exploring this floor forever. Oh, do I want to head the other way really quick and try? I think I need to. I mean, I don't literally need to, but I want to head over this way and get to the item room and shop if I can. Probably don't even need the shop if I'm being honest. Thankfully, a little brimstone will help us dispatch of these guys a little bit easier. I just gotta hurry, man, because I don't have that much time to make it to boss rush, and I'm not all that powerful, despite what you might think. That I'm actually here with the chance at boss rush usually indicates some degree of power, but not always. You can see we have 6 items over on the right side there. 7 if you count Book of Revelations, which I very clearly do. But that's just because all of our items have been active so far that we picked up in item rooms, so hopefully this last one can at least give us some sort of benefit. Other than a completion mark. Where is this last guy? There he is. Not so bad. I think, do I want to bomb in there? I think I'll pick up this key, actually, and then just go into the next room and use a key to open it. Save my bombs for a rainy day. Probably not going to check out the secret room or the shop here just to save a little bit of time so I can run back across the map to get to boss rush. Alright, what do we got here? We got Luckfoot, which at the very least is not a spacebar item. I believe it increases our luck and gives us a heightened likelihood of having good pills instead of bad ones, so there's that. It might have some other extra effects, but it's something I can't consider right now because I have to bust ass and make it over to this boss rush. Not going to worry about those coins or anything. Got a couple rooms to clear here. Hopefully they're not so bad. That one's easy. Don't worry about it. Alright, clear that out with little brimstone. Oh god, this is the danger of going too fast, is that I might end up hemorrhaging a lot of HP. Gonna try not to. Alright, there's a pill, there's a book charge. And this guy should go down fairly easily. Thank you. We got that, 2 spades, I'll save it. Let's see if we can kill Mom in a quick fashion here. Hopefully Bandage Girl will help facilitate that quite nicely. If I can get her locked on one of these doors, then that would probably be the best thing to do. We did charm Mom there for a second, for all that's worth. Alright. And I am at a fairly safe amount of health to probably take on boss rush, especially seeing that every wave of boss rush will give me an extra 2 charges on my Book of Revelations. Okay, Mom. Thank you. She knows, man. She knows that she's going to try and screw me out of this. She's going to make it come down to the wire. I think, yeah, she's at a low enough health that we don't have to worry about it. We got a full minute to deal that much damage. It's more than doable. Alright, so we got a range and luck upgrade. Deal with the devil is... Oh, we already been there. We got Lord of the Pit out of that. And in here we got... Okay. This is actually kind of an interesting set of options. We got Pyromaniac, which is this little red heart down here, which makes us immune to bombs and also makes bombs heal us, which won't do a ton for us because we don't have red heart containers. We got Spoonbender, which gives us homing tears, Spelunker Hat, which lets us see what's in the next room before we get there, and Scatter Bombs, which gives our bombs. I think Spoonbender is probably the option you go with here. It's not great by any stretch. Homing tears is you might think that they're better than they actually are if you're just starting out in this game. But they can be good. They certainly have their benefits. I would have gone Pyromaniac if I had some like red hearts to take advantage of it with, and some bombs, as a matter of fact. It is really good defensively though, because it does make you immune to explosions, which some enemies can pack. But overall, I think this is going to be a better option for us in the long run. And now we just have to deal with however many waves of boss rush we got to go through here. So sit back and enjoy, folks. This might be a long one with the amount of damage output we got. Because I think we still effectively... Yeah, we should still have base damage, because I can see all the items that we have over there. So unless Iron Bar does in fact give me a damage upgrade, then we're sitting at our base damage is Eden, which was pretty good as far as I remember. I suppose I can actually look here. It's only 3 ticks on the damage meter, which is... It certainly could be worse. I might have started at 2 and then Iron Bar bumped that up. Because I don't think you can start with higher than 2 damage as Eden. I could be wrong, of course, but... As I so often am. Alright, little Gish. Not even little Gish, big Gish. Big Bucktooth Gish. He's going to be a bit of a tough guy to take down today. Pretty tanky. I keep going over these rocks because I think I have Spectral Tears. I think I have like Spirit of the Night or something, but no, I just got Lord of the Pit. Alright, we got the fucking Bloat and Mega Fatty. That's kind of a nasty combination, actually. Oh god, what diverted that tier there? That was weird. Did you see that tier like curve around me like wanted style? That was crazy. Alright, at least the bloat is dead. He's probably the more annoying of the two. Fucking bandage girl's just sitting on top of Mega Fatty there. Totally the MVP of that fight. Alright, oh, this is a very easy wave. Watch me, this will be the one that I actually like take the most damage on somehow or something. Not today, my friends, not today. Something to keep in mind too is that for some of these enemies that can spawn, or some of these bosses that can spawn enemies, like little minions, like these flies and stuff, the next wave of bosses will come regardless of whether those minions are still around. The only criteria to bring the next wave on, as far as I know, is to have beaten both bosses of the wave. Any of their enemies that they spawned will still stick around, so keep that in mind, because some of these enemies can spawn some pretty, some of these bosses can spawn some pretty nasty enemies. Alright, carrying Queen would be more tough if we didn't have a little brimstone to make it kind of a cakewalk. Yeah, I see there's a spider hanging around, trying to get a sucker punch off on me. Alright, got Monster 2 and Fistula. Probably be able to deal with Monster 2 fairly easily, while, oh, I think with the charm shots there, actually, Monster 2 kind of annihilated Fistula. I mean, he's still dead. He's still alive down there, obviously. Oh, we got Monster 2 on our side. Thank you, Bandage Girl. Yeah, if you can get a very strong, like, boss-type enemy on your side, like Monster 2 there, with Charm Tears, then Bandage Girl might shine in that regard, too. Alright, Fistula. There we go. And we got the Adversary and Peep. Pretty nasty set of enemies, if I'm being honest. I keep calling these bosses enemies. I don't know why. I mean, technically they are enemies in the strictest sense of the definition. Alright, let's get the Adversary away here. These brimstone shots. I really gotta take this guy out. Alright, come on, come on. Where? Oh, I think he was charmed, so he might have gone down on Peep there. I don't know why anyone would want to go down on Peep, but to each their own. And we should be able to finish this guy off fairly simply here. Alright. Surprisingly powerful run, all things considered. Like, considering the items that we have over there, like, just looking at it, I would not imagine this run to be all that great. But, you know what? It's turning out pretty well. All things told. No Guppy, no Brimstone, no crazy synergies like that. It's just a strangely powerful run. Book of Revelations is definitely kind of the hero today, I think, keeping us afloat with these Spirit Hearts. Because otherwise I'd probably be in a very, very dangerous position. Actually, I definitely would be, because it's giving me like probably 3 or 4 Spirit Hearts over the span of boss rush here. Alright, the gate. I didn't even see what the other guy was. It's Pestilence. Not the worst thing in the world. I might actually want to keep the gate alive, because he can Brimstone and hit a bunch of enemies, but he's dead now, so... Yeah, his Brimstone can kind of curve. It tries to curve and hit all the enemies in the field, including the second boss. So that would have been nice. What do we got? We got the Fallen and Chub. Not so bad. Bandage Girl's actually dealing with the Fallen very, very easily there. Easy as pie. Holy crap. Alright, we got Death and Polycephalus. Death, I hope to see you in another floor here. Don't leave me hanging, man. Come on, don't give me that IOU bullshit. I want your ball bandages. If you give it to me right now, that would be great, but I know you're not going to. Oh, this guy. Not the easiest guy to fight either. Especially because he spawns these assholes. Alright, who else do we got? We got Little Horn and Pin, maybe, or the Frail? Yeah, it is the Frail, okay. Alright, where is Little Horn's hanging out up there? Oh god, so much to keep track of, man. Thankfully the Frail in a big room like this is easier than he would be normally, I would say. Alright, oh god. What happened up there? I heard a lot of explosions going on. Hey now. You're an all-star. Okay. Is that it? That's Undefined has appeared in the basement for beating Boss Rush as Eden. This item is marked. I really don't want to take marked. I'll take it in the future. It's not a it's a weird item. It often ends my runs. just because of what it does. And I really don't want to lose this run just because of Marked, because I'd like to get the ball bandages, sort of thing, complete the bandage girl. So preferably, normally I won't pass up new items like that. Normally I like to show them off, especially sort of modular and run-changing ones like Marked, because Marked is a very run-changing item. But it's not worth it right now. It's not worth the risk, unfortunately. As much as I wish it could be. Alright, let's just run this guy over the spikes here. Easy peasy. We'll actually go back and get this this charge so I can guarantee get a Book of Revelations charge off before I head to the boss fight. Because the last thing I want is to get like randomly teleported to the boss fight and then have it not be death because I didn't use the book or something. That would be annoying. Alright. Get these guys out of the way. Looking for tinted rocks on the side, too. Right on. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised. I didn't realize Little Brimstone's damage output was quite so high. I always kind of underestimated him. Like, I always thought, like, really trading 2 hearts for Little Brimstone, is that really worth the investment? And apparently it is. Like, apparently he can kind of hold down a run almost entirely on his own. Like, he doesn't have a lot of helpers in this situation, and he's doing just fine, honestly. There we go. Yeah, I will take that HP, I think. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do one more room to get a charge of Book of Revelations, then I'll use it, and then I can use the battery charge to its fullest potential as well. Provided I don't actually just take damage on this room and negate the whole thing entirely. God, I just heard someone yelling outside or something. There's something going on in there. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. There's something crazy going on in the streets. Hopefully the world's not ending. Let me at least finish this Isaac run before the world ends, okay? Alright, fingers crossed. Please be death. It's death! Okay. Alright. Alright, we're good to go. We should be able to beat this guy, barring some sort of catastrophe, and then get our ball of bandages. And complete that little post-it note. Come on, baby. And that's done. Alright, ball of bandages. There it is. We made a super bandage girl. Oh, she's so cute. Look at her. She's so, like, her head is so round. It's so weird. Alright, Goat Head does not really do much for us, because the next deal with the devil is a teleport down to Sheol anyway. I don't think I've taken Missing Page 2 yet, so I might as well. Gives me a black heart, and I think the chance to have the Necronomicon effect to damage all enemies on a room every time I get hit. Yeah, so if nothing else, we managed to clear out Boss Rush with Eden and that Super Bandage Girl achievement as well on this one run. Very, very nice. Can't say I expected that going into just a random Eden run here, but there you go. And we'll be, I mean, it looks like we should be in a pretty good position to beat Mom's Heart as well. Get like glitched baby or whatever the hell it is. Eden has this sort of whole motif of glitches around him, as you could probably tell from getting undefined by beating the boss rush. We could almost just like sit back here and kind of guide Super Bandage Girl into the enemies and have her do most of our damage. Between her and Little Brimstone, it's gonna be child's play at this point. My tears hardly even make a difference. I just have to get them in a good position. And thankfully we found our boss fights pretty easily here, so we don't have to worry about traversing too much and just delaying the inevitable. Alright, we got Hagala's here. Might as well use it. Might as well use 2 spades. I've been holding onto it for virtually no reason as well. There we go, and Mom's Heart. Mom's Heart should be our 3rd kill against this thing, which is pretty good. Alright, ooh, not great damage, but I'll take it. I have full 12 Spirit Hearts anyway, so not the worst thing in the world. I'm gonna go ahead and run in, and I think it's worth taking that damage to guide a Bandaged Girl into Mom's Heart, because look at this ridiculous. This is fucking insane. Oh my god. Alright, there you go. Gotta deal with the devil, it's not gonna matter. See our ending. Ugh, I got goosebumps, man. That ending's always been one of the more unsettling ones for me. Just seeing someone hanging in the back like that is always, it's always disturbing. I don't know what it is about it. We unlocked Glitch Baby, which was in fact what I called. Transcendence just appeared in the basement. And we got Challenge 6 Solar System. Oddly enough, alright. I think that's because Challenge 6 necessitates having Transcendence. Which, hopefully we'll see. So, yeah, that is an Eden run cleared out. Got Mom's Heart and Boss Rush done on one run, and the Super Bandage Girl thing, so, we are sitting pretty there. We also unlocked Eve, as far as I remember. Yeah, we did. That was this run, wasn't it? So we only have to unlock Judas, Magdalene, and Lilith. And then we'll have everyone unlocked. Sweet. For now, though, that's going to be it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Please leave a like or dislike and a comment down below. Let me know how you enjoyed the video. It keeps me going to know that you guys are watching this and enjoying it. And, yeah, subscribe if you want to see more. I post one of these every day. You can hit the little notification bell down there as well if you want to be notified of when I upload a video. And for now, that's going to be it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. This is ArgonMatrix, signing out. Thank you and good night.